Hello YouTube. Ronnie, Shireen, back behind the camera as usual. Today is Wednesday, July something.
I think it's the 9th.
The 9th?
Yeah.
Pretty sure y'all heard about the floods we had in the hill country. That was pretty sad. We didn't hardly get any rain here for us. I got 2 inches in a matter of since Friday morning.
Well, unless you ask me, 3/10 turned into 3/4.
That was yesterday. Yeah, I got an app on my phone, and it's raindrop, and we had to go into town for a doctor appointment for her for yesterday. So we come back and there's water everywhere. I was like, dang, it must have rained. Sure enough, I said, how much rain? Check my rain gauge app, and it had 0.35. She goes, we got 3/4 inch. All right, and it kind of looked like it because there was a lot of water, you know. She goes in the HEB to get some stuff for dinner or whatever, and I just, you know what? Let me check, make sure.
Just to make sure.
And 0.35. When she got back in the car, we drove her car. I said, hey, look at this. I said, what does that say? I don't know. Well, that's what it doesn't say. It doesn't say 3/4 inch. It shows 3/10. So, gotta love her anyway. But she told me, she goes, you didn't marry me for my brains, so no shit. Anyway, this is a custom job today. We're gonna shred. This is what we're gonna do today. It's about 25 acres. Get all this weed out. We're gonna knock the tops off of it. We're gonna come back and we're gonna put some herbicide. I just can't do any hay. Every time I'm getting ready to cut hay, we got rain. I was gonna cut this place Sunday because I'm so far behind. Or Saturday we were gonna do it, and I called Saturday, and it was storming out here, and I don't know if if lightning had hit a tractor or not.
But we weren't gonna play that.
I don't test it, and I just never know how wet it could get. This is sand. This is a lot of sandy country, so it ain't that bad. But you get some of them sinkholes. But anyway, so we're gonna do this. I'm gonna put this on here. The gentlemen that own it, they know I'm gonna video this one, so and they're subscribers also. So I will show this one, and then in a week or two, probably 2 weeks, we'll come back and we'll put some herbicide on it. But let's bring you along. day 2. I don't have but a little bit left. I got on these trees to do. I just had a lot of stuff to do the other day, so it's gonna be about an hour. I'll take you along a little bit on this. There's a lot of, and they told me in this place there was a lot of down timber. I didn't think it was this much. If I can give anybody trying to do this and start your own little business or whatever, I'm old, I've been doing it for a long time, I'm fat, I'm tired, my knees hurt. Walk the property. You know, I did come out here and look at it, and I can get into some of these trees. You know, I can get under them and, you know, through some of them and all that. We'll get the majority. I'm not charging them for, I'm only going to charge them for about 20 acres of what I told them. You look at all this down stuff right here. I don't know if you can see that. And if you have to get it, charge them for a new set of blades. I don't usually even get off a tractor, to be honest with you. I don't usually move stuff. Like this one's got a water hose over there that I did run over a little bit in that first field that I did. I don't know if it's I don't know if I got it on video or not, but I guess there's some trees out there that getting irrigated, and I left a strip there, so I am gonna move that water hose, but I don't usually do that. So if you walk the property, you charge for every little thing. If you've got to get off the tractor, charge for it. You gotta, you know, all these obstacles, that's time, charge extra for it. It just, you know, if you're trying to get into this thing and do that, I don't walk the properties anymore. Man, my knees hurt, my hips hurt so much. But anything you got to do, you charge for it. You know, some people might not agree with me there, but again, I don't really care. Again, this is the way I do it. This is not a how to do it. This is kind of how everything that I do is, like I've always said, you know, I don't do it like your granddaddy does it or your daddy does it. That's fine with me. What we're going to do now is we're going to come and spray this field. Get rid of all these weeds. So what we did is we shredded it all, bush hogged it all, or what we can. And then we're going to come back in next week or week after next and put some Cimarron herbicide down. We'll kill all these broadleaf weeds and everything. Cimarron here is non-restricted, so I don't know if it's restricted. I don't know the difference in other states and all that stuff. So what I use and what you can use might be different. But I use Cimarron because hence the name of the channel, Pull Boy Ranching. I'm a pull boy, so I'm cheap, and so I do what works the best for me. And that Cimarron works really good, and I put that with that Texas Pasture Plus, and it all works out. But we'll come back in, we'll spray this field. We'll spray this field with herbicide next week or week after, just depends. Depends on wind, depends on moisture, rain, what we're going to get. I don't know what we're getting. I know this video was supposed to be hay video. I told you my next video was going to be haying, but we had the July 4th rains, and hold on. See, I can't even get over there. I told them that I wouldn't be able to get all of this in here. That's why I think it's a total 24, 25 acres, something like that. But I'm only going to charge them 20 because, like I said, this, and there's a tank down yonder and some trees, so they need to come in here with a grapple. If y'all are watching, you property owners, I do have a grapple. If you put you a third function valve, I know y'all said you had a tractor. I don't know how big it is. Put you a third function valve on that tractor, I can link with my grapple, and you can come in here and pick all this stuff up, clean it up, and put it in the pile, and then you can start burning it for long, because now I think the burn ban's been lifted here in Wilson County. Then I got they got all these markers out. I'm trying to miss those markers too, which I can't see everything also. But like I said, anyway, come back, we'll put some herbicide on here. Those valves, man. People don't care about you or your equipment. You're a hired hand, and they think you'll just tear your equipment up. Don't tear your equipment up for them. You know, like I said, if you're a new guy trying to do this, and I'm not trying to say I'm some big time contractor, nothing like that. I've been doing it for a long time. I have a lot of customers. This is my retirement when I do retire. So, you know, before I bought this tractor, I was wanting to retire this year or so, but now that I got this tractor, I got to pay it off. I did finance it, of course. I don't have $90,000 just laying around to buy a tractor with. Some people do. I'm happy for you. I don't. I don't live a life of luxury. I do have, I consider a nice tractor. I was gonna get an air ride seat, but a buddy of mine at work has the same tractor, and he's got an air ride seat, and his seat blows a fuse all the time. And you know, he doesn't use a tractor like I do. He uses it around the farm, and they have some cows, and you know, he's got a brother and a dad that have tractors. His dad used to sell tractors, but I used to buy it from his father back when I first started buying stuff. And then he retired. But I'm sorry if y'all can't hear me. You gotta pay attention in here. But anyway, so he blows a fuse all the time, and I don't want to have to fight with something extra, so I just went back to a suspension seat, and I don't know what you call these tires, these bigger, like flotation tires, I guess, on the front. I don't know what they're called, but they smooth out the ride compared to that 70-60. Even that M4, that 071, that thing had a smooth ride because it had these bigger tires, I guess, with the suspension seat. And you know, so I just didn't want extra deal. And again, we can go back to that 12-speed transmission. I don't know. I guess I should see how much it costs. I wouldn't worry about it if I were y'all. You know, if you're gonna buy a tractor like this, you know, I can't speak for John Deere. I can't speak for Mahindra or anything. I can't speak for New Holland. I can only speak on Kubota. Because that's the ones I've had this transmission in. I had it both. I had it in an M71, and then I had it in this one. And I don't see any benefit out of it. Now, maybe there's a salesman that watches my channel, and if you're a Kubota salesman and you can tell me the benefit, I would love to hear it. Because maybe it's something I haven't noticed yet. You know, I've only got I've only got 112 hours on it. You know, I've had the tractor for about 7 months. No, September, October of last year I got it. But I've only been really using it for good, you know, steady time, 3 months. I generally put about 400 to 500 hours a season on it. But another thing I don't like that I did is I put this real dark tint on here, this 5%. I don't, if I did it again, I wouldn't do that. That other one had it. Of course, that was in the end of last year or whenever. Unless this tint reflects a lot, that's what I don't like. It's hard to see in the evenings when I'm cutting hay or something like that. But let's see, getting back to the do's and don'ts of this stuff. Yes, you can make money. You know, I know a lot of people nowadays, they go buy a Mahindra or whatever I know a lot of Mahindras are on, they put them on sale. You can buy a whole package deal, 40 horsepower tractor and a shredder, a trailer, or a shredder, a trailer, a postal digger, a box blade, for like $2.99 a month, I guess. You know, and that's all fine and dandy. I started like that, not with a Mahindra, but I did have Mahindra one time. But I mean, a smaller horsepower tractor. But if you're looking for something for your 10-acre farm and your wife won't let you buy it, and you're gonna put the idea, well, I can shred, bush hog, you know, and I can make that payment, which is very true. You can make your $300 payment, you know, depending on how hard you work at it, how long you want to sit on it. You know, when I started with an old Ford tractor, you know, 8N tractor, 5-foot shredder, shredding an acre an hour and 15 minutes to an acre. It makes for a long day. And then you got the open station, which somebody's going to say, oh, Ronnie, it ain't bad. And it ain't bad when you're a young man. But now that I'm older and I've had the heat strokes and everything, you can guarantee one thing. I might do a 5 or 6 acre pasture on my John Deere, but I won't do nothing bigger than that. And I don't even do small pastures much, and that's another thing. You're going to get a call. I got 5 acres. And somebody like me with this equipment, I'm gonna say it's not nothing big and bad or nothing like that, but it doesn't pay to load up. You know, I do have a $350 minimum. Anything I do is $350 minimum. Now, I have the luxury where I can pick and choose the jobs. I don't have to go and do a job. You know, but if you bought a tractor and you know you got to go do that job, $350 hopefully will pay that payment, $50 for your fuel. You know, one day pays that payment. But me, like I said, I have the luxury, and there's a lot of people doing this now. You know, and there's some guys like that are, you know, 100 horsepower tractors like me. You know, they have, you know, bat wings, you know, great. But there's also a lot of guys that have the smaller stuff, you know. 40, 50 horsepower tractors, and it does the job. Now they'll have a $250 minimum, and here in this area, there's a lot of them. So I don't know if I would even say anybody else get back in and trying to get back into doing this in this area. Now I've watched other channels and they say they're gonna do $15, $20 an acre. I'd be danged if I'm gonna do that. It's amazing how the price difference is on everything. You know, $15, $20 an acre to shred, and then their hay baling is like $15 an acre. And I don't know how they do it. They'll say an acre, they'll cut and rake it for acres, and then they'll bale it so much. Me, I charge $35 a bale per acre. That's my going rate. Now, I can charge more if it's further, or if it's really like, I don't like doing hay in the Livonia. I don't like doing much hay in the Livonia at all, that area, because I don't. All that sand and stuff, man, it just tears my knives up. So when I'm doing it in Livonia, I do charge more, because it tears my knives up. It eats my my rake teeth up. So I'll say charge $40, $45 a bale, and 2 bale per acre minimum, and 15 acre minimum. You know, so I'd be 30 bale minimum on it. Then people, oh, you're too expensive. You know what? That's fine with me. If you didn't have to have all this equipment that's expense, you can go buy it yourself. You know, and people get mad. Oh, well, God dang it, see, hear that shit? Stuff I don't see. Yeah, and they get mad because you won't go do their hay, or you won't, you know, I gotta pay $900 to get 10 bales. Well, when you go and buy hay at $100 a bale, or whatever you gotta buy, and you gotta transport it, you're paying over that anyway. Yeah, I don't know what but so I guess that's gonna be it for this video.